journey, and we are on a collective journey throughout this 2025, this new year. By the way, I don't know if I said Happy New Year. Like, Happy New Year, everyone. This is the start of an incredible journey. I'm going to speak that into existence. And so carrying that energy through into our main event, I'm really excited to get our speaker on here who knows something or two about journeys and personal journeys. And as you're listening, as you're taking things in, taking notes, make sure that you're sharing with us on IG or across social in general. Use our hashtag CMShy and CM Journey. The CM Journey hashtag will also connect you to the global Creative Mornings and what they're doing on this topic as well. So make sure you join the conversation. All right, without further yapping from me, I'm super excited to bring up our speaker for today. She is an incredible dancer, beautiful dancer, but she's also a strength trainer. She got me into powerlifting. Just so you know the strength that it takes to convince someone like me to lift things, heavy things above my head. But I am super excited to have her and to hear her story. She is one of the most empathetic, the most just gracious and graceful person that you can ever meet. If you're looking for a trainer, she embodies like what you want as a trainer. She really listens to you, she really sees you, and I'm just so excited to hear her own story. She always focuses on us, so this is my time to like get the tea a little bit. So without further ado, I'm going to invite up Cara Sabin, everyone.
All right, good morning. I'm very excited to be here today and to meet all of you. You seem like I've never been to a Creative Mornings before, so, but I'll definitely be back based on what I've already experienced. As Audrey said, I am Cara Sabin. I am a strength and conditioning coach at a place called Define Training. And we'll be talking a little bit about the journey, both through my lens as a mover and my personal journey, but also the journey that I can witness over my 14 years of coaching people in various places along their own path. What I found is some very common ground on what makes people very successful, where they find their creative purpose, their steadiness, and their fulfillment in what they're doing, whether that's in a gym, in a studio, in their career, or just in their personal life. So that's what we're tackling today. So we'll start here. I love this quote when we're talking about building something. The key, if you want to build habits that last, is to join a group where the desired behavior is the normal. That is from James Clear with Atomic Habits, very familiar. And right now, we are joining a group, a community, where the behavior is the normal behavior, where your creativity is supported, where your thoughts are supported, where waking up on a rainy day to be amongst a group of people is supported. So you're already doing that. But I like to look at this as where I'm going as well. What is my desired behavior right now? A little bit more about me before we get moving a little bit. I was born a mover. That's all I know, and I've been fortunate enough to take that through my entire life as my mission. I am a mom to a 2-year-old daughter named Violet and a French bulldog named Ollie. So that keeps me very busy. In my former life, I was a professional dancer with a contemporary modern dance company here in Chicago called The Seldums. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And now I run Define Training, which is a community-based strength and conditioning gym, which there are some very strong members of right here in this audience. So I'd like to start today how I start my day in my classes. So if you're able and willing, get up, and let's just fill this space here in kind of a bit of a semicircle. Don't be scared. Right? Yeah, I love that. Yeah, just take a little space. Yeah, just kind of make that. Yeah, you know. Yeah. We don't have, yeah, just circle up. We can even go here.
Here, let's set an example.
It's a big space. Fill it up. All right. So I believe you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you're from. So we're just going to touch base a little bit. I want you to turn and find a group of 2 or 3 people. Just kind of get together with that person right now. 2 or 3 people. All right. All right, I'll have more instructions. Yeah, come on into the space. Come on into the space. Okay, hold on. Hold on. All right, I have more instructions. I have more instructions. All right, we found our group of 2 or 3, right? I didn't even have to tell you people to introduce yourselves, but we will do that now. Okay, hold 1 second. So here's what I want us to do. I want you to simply tell the people your name, if you don't know them already. And I want you to tell them where you're from. Okay? That could be, I'm from Logan Square, I'm from Belize, I'm from Toronto, I'm from Boston, I'm from wherever you identify as where you're from. Pretty surface question, we could certainly go deep there, but let's just tell them your name, where you're from, and then we'll return back here, okay? Take a moment. Raise your hand if you think you are from the closest to where we are standing right now. Who's from the closest? Where are you from? Bridgeport. Bridgeport? Can anybody beat Bridgeport? Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from that seat over there.
That seat over there? Is that where you told your group you were from? You told your group you were from that seat? Okay. If you are not, what's your name? If you are not Eliza and you are not from that seat, we are going to do 5 air squats. I'll show you. That's humility. We're going all the way down and up. So we need a little space here. All right. 5 air squats if you're not Eliza. Eliza? Yes. Here we go. 5 squats. Let's go. Beautiful squats. Oh, you're back. One more question. away from where we are right now? Who is from the farthest away? Hands up.
I'm from Tver, Russia.
Can anybody beat Russia?
Petersburg and Moscow.
Can anybody beat near St. Petersburg, Moscow? Anybody from farther away than that? Oh wait, we got someone?
It's near, so I feel like it depends which way you go.
Oh, you guys are gonna have to work that out. Okay, so what's your name? What's your name?
Zofia.
Zofia and Vitaly. If you are not them, you are doing 5 air squats. Let's go.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick, erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick, rewrite it, plug it, play it.
All right. Give your team a fist bump or a high five. We can go back to our space. We can go back to our space. All right. Thank you for moving with me and making this space feel a little cozier. A little bit about how I got here. So first about my journey, and then I'll talk about some of the journeys that I witnessed. I've always seen myself as an artist and an athlete, and I've kind of found some lanes to pair those things together. As I mentioned, I was born a mover. It's all I know how to do. As a kid, this is a picture that I feel like really embodies me. And I return to it a lot. I was a gritty kid, always kind of looking for the next adventure, and often overconfident. I used to think that some of those things that were rough around the edges a little bit were things that were kind of setbacks in my life, but I would later find out that those were some of the greatest things in my journey and made me who I was. This picture here, I was probably hiking somewhere. My shirt says, "I'm a campfire spark." I'm holding both a flower and a stick, and I think that's kind of a good analogy for how I go through my life. The picture on the other side is me dancing with the company that I danced with for 10 years, the Seldums, and we'll talk a little bit about the work that we made. But that grit is really what got me there. Let's talk a little bit about dance. So, as I mentioned, I started dance very late in my life. While most of my peers were in tutus at 3 years old and in conservatories by the time they were teenagers, I was playing in the dirt and stomping in puddles and moving from one thing to the next. And I took my first dance class when I was 17 years old. Immediately, everything made sense. I felt like I had a purpose. I knew that that was a place for me to express myself, both creatively and in my physicality. And I told my parents I was going to be a professional dancer at 17, taking my first dance class. I knew I had kind of an uphill battle. I took a lot of my first dance classes as an adult, as 18, 19-year-olds with 8-year-olds, because that's where I had to start to learn to get to that next level. But eventually I found my way to Columbia College. They have an open enrollment program with dance, and that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because I found teachers who saw who I was, that kid with a flower and a stick, and saw that as an asset, and kind of polished some of my rough edges to help get me to where I wanted to go. After college, I found a dance company, the Seldums, which really pairs purpose with movement, and works really collaboratively with a lot of artists and designers. And I felt that that was more of a conversation rather than a performance and an audience. Let's see. I danced for 14 years with the Seldums. I toured the world. I got to dance at the Kennedy Center, and I did things that I never, ever thought I would do. For my friends from Russia, I danced in Siberia. Yeah, I made it to Siberia, so that was kind of amazing. The Seldom's work believes that dance can ignite thinking about critical social issues, which often people are like, how the hell do you dance about social issues? How do you do a pretty dance about the things that we're talking about today in the world? And again, it's a conversation. Some of my favorite works, this one right here, is about bottom-up power. And we used social movements of the 1960s, power of the people, to examine how people got things done. We worked with a visual artist, Bob Faust, to make something we called the Brascape. Very kind of replicating the 60s. This thing moved throughout the space, throughout the stage, all over with us. And that is kind of the idea of the work. We've also made works about top-down power. We examined the power of, presidential power of Lyndon Baines Johnson and how that parallels what we're seeing today in political power. So there's topics that we talk, we ask a lot of questions, and we work with our audience on how do we make more of a conversation. And for me, dancing with this company was really put purpose behind my passion and behind my physicality, and that's what kept me there so long. So now, I've turned that purpose into a place. We've built Defined Training, which is where I am a coach now. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. We work with barbells and dumbbells and moving heavy stuff and working with strong people and showing people how strong they are. So that is really kind of where I am now. For me, I view it as a third space for many people. I view it as a community of people who show up every day and just want to be better. And I think, I see that some parallels here today, too. We're just here to be better and to be together. People show up every day and they say, what can I give today? Not what can I take today? Give yourself, give the people around you. I think that there's some shared values there of community, consistency, giving, helping, play, joy. Some things that might be harder to find when we're sitting at our computer, working from home, and things like that. We really believe that we're stronger together, and we show up for each other every day. So it is empty four walls. It's a blank, empty space, but it's the people that fill it that really keep me moving. Some more pictures of that. And fitness is the lens that now I see things through. I didn't always see myself that way. I was always an artist and a mover, but fitness, I think, gives me more life to live and more time to pursue more adventures and my purpose. So it is really powerful, no matter where you are on that journey. Movement is medicine, and that really gives us more time to pursue anything that we're looking to pursue. And I also believe, too, if you don't have your health, everything else falls to the wayside, right? Your passions, your relationships, everything like that. So I think every day building a foundation for health is really what keeps me, excited and waking up every day. Throughout those years at Define, I've seen thousands of people on so many different areas of their path, whether they're terrified to start something new, whether they've been doing it their whole lives, whether they're just looking for people like them. And I've seen a lot of common practices from all walks of life that have led to a lot of success, not just in the gym, and that's why I love what I do, but what we do in the gym really lends itself to the confidence that people have about themselves once they leave the gym. And that's why I think this space is so special. So I'm going to share a little bit of what those common factors are and how we can apply them to whatever journey we're on, whether that's a creative journey, spiritual, relationship, just making it through a new year, fitness, whatever it may be for yourself. So how do we make moves? again, these are lessons I've learned from fitness and movement, can be applied anywhere. I think first you find your people, right? That is what I've seen everybody do who I've noticed has been successful. Then recognize your resilience. And last, return to your roots. For me, this is the how, what, and why. And it's very simple, tangible. How do I do it? What do I do? And why do I keep showing up? So we'll start with community, the power of community. Find a shared value. I'm preaching to the choir, it looks like we've done that today. So find a shared value. These are some of the things that define a great community for me, but you may have some different things for you as well. A great community will push you to do things that you wouldn't do alone, right? Maybe you wouldn't have danced for 30 seconds. Maybe you should, but maybe you wouldn't have danced for 30 seconds if you weren't in a group here today. A great community will have fun, recognize the process, and not take themselves too seriously. And then for me, a great community will tell you when you need to slow down and support your setbacks, because that will happen. That is part of the path. Some of these photos too are from one of my favorite events we do every year. We take our fitness outside. We go to Montrose Beach and we do a workout at the beach that's open for everybody. Bring your roommates, bring your friends, bring your dogs. So these are why we're all standing shirtless on the beach. So again, don't take yourself too seriously there. I often think that when people say find your people, find your community, that can sometimes feel empty, right? When we're all just trying to get by and we're just trying to do the best we can, I think find your community, make connections, network, can sometimes just feel like an empty statement, right? And I really think that we're in an area, in a zone, in an era of a time when we're more connected than ever, yet there's an epidemic of loneliness. How is that? How is that, right? How are we not finding those communities? And I struggle with that a lot too. I think we're in this urban area where people are all going about their lives. And I think for me, the answer has always been return to service, right? Help somebody get better. Find somebody who maybe has a similar mission as you, one person, and help them and ask them to help you, right? I always go back to that because I think that helps me reignite my purpose and what I'm doing. And it helps you expand your community and your purpose too. So I think if you are in a space where you're looking for that community, wherever it might be, find someone to help. Find service first. Step 2, I think, is the what. So what are we doing when we're trying to build our path, build our journey? We are recognizing our resilience. As I mentioned, seasons, stages, setbacks are part of the path, and they're part of a life well lived. So we can't just go this way. We have to have an up and a down to really appreciate all of it. For me, resilience is process, right? It's not product, it's the process that we put in every day. In chaos, I always focus on the destination. So when your life is just all over the place, focus on the destination, focus on where you're going. But in calm, focus on the process to get there. So if things are mellow, that's where we start to think about how can I fill my tank every day, or incrementally continue to push more of the process. I love this. This is called the Sickness, Wellness, Fitness Continuum. Some of you may be familiar with it, but for me, I use this to measure my progress, my journey, my path in many more areas than just my fitness. This one is for fitness. So I look at this as a gas tank. Where we start, sickness or, inexperience, whatever it may be, we start filling the gas tank with our process, our resilience every day until we get to a point of wellness. Then once we're there, the path to fitness we've built become a little bit easier. You see it's a downhill slope from there, right? So that just becomes part of who you are, part of your daily routine. What I love about this is that the resilience, we all will fall, we all will have that setback. But if I'm starting closer to fit, and I get sick, or I need to take care of somebody else, or something happens with my job, or there's stress, I move to well. I don't move from well to sick, right? Another thing is maybe I'm inching towards wellness, and there's a great thing that happens in my life that I just need to rebalance some of my priorities. It's not always bad things that happen that cause us to set back or pause. So then I still move from, well to maybe not so steep on the curve. So I use this, I look at this in my relationships. I look at this, you can look at this in your process, anything that you're building, finances, spirituality, whatever it may be, how are you feeling a little bit every day? Yeah? The third one is the why. This one I think has the most heart, which is returning to your roots, returning to who you are, will keep you curious. And oftentimes when you're on the path and you don't know where to go next, what am I doing? Why am I making this thing? Why am I putting out bad stuff? Why do I keep showing up here every day? I think it's returning to who you are, where you're from, why you were curious about this in the first place, and the process that we just mentioned. I want you to take a moment real quick and just close your eyes, think for a moment of an image of yourself, like I showed the image of myself as a I think probably 5-year-old. Think of a picture you have of yourself as a child, as a kid, or a memory that you have of yourself as a kid. I'll give you just a couple seconds, just to kind of get that image in your mind. I know there's always one that stands out, that you always see on your mom's bookshelf, or you always go back to and you post for your birthday, whatever that might be. I think that image, or your roots, are your origin story. And I think they can tell you a lot about that image that you're seeing in your mind, who you are and why you're here. Childhood, I think, brings us back to our intrinsic motivators, right? What's motivating us from the inside? What's our curiosity? Rather than outside motivators or extrinsic kind of motivations that move us to maybe more of a consumption kind of idea. Childhood brings us back to our purest form. And I think taking a look at that image of yourself as a kid will help you know where to go next. When I was a kid, that picture of me, I knew I didn't have any goals. I wasn't writing down, what I needed to do that day, what I needed to achieve. I was really just in a state of creation and really flowing. I played for the sake of play. I told stories for the sake of imagination. And I built things because I loved building, for the sake of building, not to get it right or wrong. Roots tell us where our curiosity and creativity are. They return to that image, and you'll learn everything you need to know, like the flower and the stick in my hand. And I really view them as an opportunity to remind yourself of where you should go next. Last, life will happen. It is part of the path. When you find your community, the root of your purpose, and your resilience to keep making moves, you will realize that the journey brings far more than the destination ever could. Over my years, I've seen people achieve so much more than they ever set out to do, simply because they followed these things. They were supported by a community. They recognized their strength and their resilience and kept showing up every day. And they kept returning when they fell to why they started in the first place, or who they really are. I hope you know that you are inspiring to me just for being here and being part of this community. keep sharing, keep showing up for one another, and keep finding your people like we did today. Go make moves. Thank you.
Keep giving her a round of applause. That was amazing. Thank you so much. That was so inspirational, and I'm sure that as she was speaking, a lot of you can start to think and visualize some of these points and relate it back